Good evening, and welcome to Election Night 2020. Tonight, we have Senator Marco Rubio versus Bernie Sanders. Right now, we have 6 states to call: Vermont, Indiana, Kentucky, Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia. Kentucky will go to Senator Marco Rubio. The first day of the night, 63% of the vote. Along that, South Carolina and Indiana, as well as Georgia, very surprisingly. Usually it's a battleground. Vermont, Bernie Sanders' home state, going to him by 70%. As of now, Virginia is too close to call. As you can see, Marco Rubio is in the lead, with 3 delegates for Bernie Sanders, his home state of Vermont, and Virginia too close to call. Now are the 7:30 p.m. poll closings, and we have Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina voting. West Virginia will go to Senator Marco Rubio, the safe Republican state, Joe Manchin's home state. While Ohio, Sherrod Brown's home state, will go to the too close to call column. North Carolina and its 15 electoral votes are too close to call, Roy Cooper's home state. As of now, Rubio is still in the lead. He's expanded it. And right now we're to 8 p.m. poll closings, and we have a huge batch of states. Alabama, a deep southern state, will go to Marco Rubio. He's very loved in the South. Mississippi and Tennessee will also go to Marco Rubio, as well as Oklahoma and Missouri, a somewhat battleground state. North Carolina, which was previously too close to call, is now going for Marco Rubio, while Maine at large will go to Bernie Sanders. New Hampshire will go to the senator of Vermont. Massachusetts, we're striking the Northeast here, as well as Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Chris Christie's home state, Delaware, Joe Biden's home state, and Maryland, Larry Hogan's home state, will go to Bernie Sanders, as well as Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Illinois, Barack Obama's home state, will go to Bernie Sanders. Pennsylvania is too close to call, as well as Florida, which is Marco Rubio's home state and is always too close to call at this point. Maine, 1 out of its 4 electoral votes, is too close to call. As you can see now, they both expanded the lead, although Bernie Sanders is behind. As you can see now, it is the 8:30 p.m. poll closings, and Arkansas is available. Arkansas will go to a senator of Florida, while Maine's 2nd Congressional District will go to Bernie Sanders. Pennsylvania will go to Senator Bernie Sanders, which was previously too close to call, as well as Ohio, previously too close to call. As you can see now, there seems to be a northern versus southern divide, and Bernie Sanders is actually ahead. Right now we're at 9 p.m. poll closings, and it's even bigger than the 8 p.m. poll closings. Texas will go to Marco Rubio, followed by Louisiana, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, we're hitting the red wall, North Dakota, and South Dakota will go to him, as well as Florida, previously too close to call, his home state. While New York, my home state, will go to Bernie Sanders, as well as Michigan, we're hitting the Rust Belt. Surprisingly, it's actually not too close to call, with Paul Ryan being from Wisconsin. Minnesota will go to Bernie Sanders too. It's a Rust Belt state. New Mexico is too close to call. On the flip side, Bernie Sanders does not have Latino appeals, and Rubio does, and that's why it's a very interesting election. While Colorado is also too close to call for the same reason. Arizona, too. Usually a leading Republican state. As you can see now, Rubio's ahead of Sanders, he's taking the lead again, and Wisconsin, which is Paul Ryan's home state, is too close to call. Right now, the 10 p.m. poll closings, we're starting to get sleepy, and we have Montana, Iowa, Utah, and Nevada voting. Right now, Utah will go to Senator Marco Rubio, as well as Arizona. Very surprisingly, it's been called this early, maybe because of his Latino appeals. As you may know, he's Cuban. Wisconsin will go to Bernie Sanders. Paul Ryan's home state factor will not prevent him from getting the state. While Iowa is too close to call, as well as Montana. Maybe it's because of Bernie Sanders' northwestern appeal. Nevada's too close to call. As you can see now, Rubio is still ahead of Sanders. His lead has expanded a bit, but we're going to hit the West Coast now. Right now at 11 p.m. poll closings, and there's no doubt that this will give Sanders a ton of delegates. We have Idaho going for Marco Rubio, and Montana. But we also have Washington, Oregon, and California all going to Bernie Sanders, as well as Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard's home state. Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District will go to Bernie Sanders. As you can see now, Sanders has taken the lead against Senator Rubio, and there are more too close to call states than actual states that haven't voted yet. Right now is the 1 p.m. poll closing, and Alaska will go to Marco Rubio. But wait, we have some more states. Nevada will go to Marco Rubio. This is a surprise, as the Latino population usually goes first, the Democrats. As you can see now, Rubio has gone up, but he's still behind Bernie Sanders. We have Iowa, Virginia, Colorado, and New Mexico too close to call. As you can see now, we have a major report. Iowa, New Mexico, Colorado, and Virginia will all form recounts. Recount meaning that they'll recount the votes to see if there are any errors, as the margins have gone under 0.5%. November 4th, next day, we have a key news alert. Colorado will be going to Senator Marco Rubio by 0.1%. As you can see now, there's still 3 too close to call states. Right now it's November 5th, we have another key news alert. Virginia will go to Marco Rubio. It's 13 electoral votes. This is certainly a surprise, as the minority state will be going to Marco Rubio. Right now it's only down to 2 states. As you can see, Sanders is only 3 delegates ahead, with Iowa and New Mexico still forming recounts. We have a major key news alert. This one may result in who will become the next president of the United States. Right now, Iowa will go to Bernie Sanders, which will effectively make him the 46th president of the United States. Iowa has given Bernie Sanders the lead against Rubio. November 20th, we have another key news alert. Although he already won, New Mexico's too close to call. Right now, it will go to Bernie Sanders by 0.01% of the vote. This means that Bernie Sanders will be going to the White House on January 20th, 2021. And right now, there's 0 undecided delegates. As you can see, Sanders won by 276. Thanks for watching his election night, and bye. I'll see you next time.